This is the third year we've had Model UN here at MSU, and we went to a Midwest competition before. But yes, this is the first time we went to New York.
Well, they were great. Every time we would check in on them, they were in the midst of whatever activity was going on. Luke and Megan played a real strong role in kind of combining a series of different resolutions. Andrea was by herself. She had to really hold her own and did great. I think the biggest testament is how many friends they've made after that week. They're still heavily in touch with people that they spent a lot of time with.
And they really learned so much about what it means to craft policy and craft international policy.
It was mind-blowing because when you walk in, it's so big and overwhelming. The room is big in itself, but the actions that take place in the room is even bigger than the room itself. It makes you feel like you're important, like you're somebody important sat in this seat and voted on this bill that probably changed something about your life. And it's overwhelming feeling, especially for me, because I love stuff like treaty law and all that kind of stuff. So to me, I'm just like, oh my God, some of the best diplomats were in this room, and it just blew me away. It was super cool. Work with other teams throughout the world, now that was the funnest part, because some people didn't speak English, and like I had this one person, there were teams, but one spoke English and we kept having to translate it back and forth, so that was cool. And plus, even though they played their country, you can kind of see how their policies, because they're from a different country, how it's slanted differently from like a U.S. policy, like how they dressed and how they talked and what they did after the competition.
It was an amazing experience because starting in the fall, we had to do research on the country that we were given. Our country was Honduras, and my committee was the Economic Council on Latin American countries. So we had 3 topics, and then throughout the fall we had to research those topics and write a paper on them. And then during the spring semester we focused on public speaking and giving speeches and all of that. And then we went there and we're divided in our committees, and each country has a different paper. So we had to set the agenda according to the topics we thought were more important for our own country. And then we had to develop that topic and try to write a resolution that included all of the countries and try to find like a good middle point. And in my committee we had United Kingdoms, United States, Canada, France, and they were all trying to work together, which at first was hard because first of all they're not Latin American countries, so they were trying to tell us what we should do. So trying to work together, especially because in college you usually work in groups of 2 to 4 people, and then being there you had to work in groups of 11 to 20 people.
I was amazed just looking at the work they did, the preparation beforehand. They had to turn in papers, for example, beforehand of the competition. Everyone did. Their papers were excellent, and it really helped them to be confident in arguing their points, to negotiate with others and compromise. And I could tell just over the course of that competition, I thought they had learned a lot just in preparation, but when we got there, they realized so much about themselves, about what it means to be confident, what it means to think on your feet, and also just how to get along with really a diverse group of people who, since they're representing a great variety of countries, don't always have the same interest, but are somehow still trying to come together to make a decision.
And we saw in the beginning of the conference, several were very intimidated or maybe a little bit overwhelmed. And the good part is that lasted about 24 hours. By the second day, they'd forgotten all of those things, to the point that by the time we got to the end of the event, they were willing to stand up and talk and participate and argue. So.
And I think they really gained a great sense of themselves, that what it means to compete with people from all around the world, and that they have the confidence to do it.